So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use Microsoft 365 with Excel. So in front of me, I've got a sheet of data, and this is very much sample data, employee data. So as you'd imagine, it's got things like name, job title, salary, and so on. Now, when you are using Copilot with Excel, one very important starting point is that the data on your sheet does need to be formatted as a table. If it's not as a table, then Copilot simply won't be able to work with it. So you do need to convert your data into a table if you want to use Copilot. Next up, we're going to look at how you can access Copilot, and there are a couple of ways. In fact, kind of like 3 ways, because sometimes you can actually open a sheet and Copilot can be super helpful and put some suggestions in this area here. But the main 2 ways, the manual couple of ways, if you like, of accessing Copilot are either by right click. So let's just right click something at random here. So let's just right click the corporate option and you'll see that excuse me, we've got Copilot suggestions on the right click menu. So got like a standard right click menu, and then under Copilot suggestions we've got some Copilot options here, such as suggest a formula column. So that's one way of accessing Copilot. The second way is this icon. Now if you're familiar with working with Copilot in other Microsoft 365 apps like PowerPoint and Word, you'll be familiar with this icon on the top right of the toolbar, which opens up a sidebar. But it's worth noting there has been a couple of recent changes. So the first one is that you've got 2 options now. There's a little drop down. So you can select the chat, which is the regular chat window, which basically gives you access to all your organization's data and the internet, and you can do all sorts of mainstream things here. But if you want to focus on the app in question, in this case Excel, you need to select app skills. So that opens a different sidebar. Now this will be very specific to Excel in this case. So we can see that we've got some suggested prompts here. So let's go for an option. So let's go summarize using pivot tables or charts. You can see that this is working because we've got the arrow there. Let's just click that and see it in operation. So it's now summarizing using pivot tables or charts, and it's telling us it is nearly finished, so hopefully it won't be too long. And then once that has been created, we'll have a little bit of information as well as the pivot table, and I'll also be able to add that pivot table to a sheet, which we will do. So it's nearly there. You can see that the color of the data has slightly changed, and we have now got our response. So we have got department average of annual salaries there. You can see that I can add it to a new sheet, which I'll do in a second, and we've got a text summary of that. So here's a summary using a pivot table. The average annual salary by department includes figure for accounting and a figure for engineering there. So I will now add that to a new sheet, and very simple, just like click on that and you can see the pivot table is now in a new sheet. Pretty handy and super quick. Also, if I scroll down, you can see that I can carry on by adding other requests here, such as get deeper results or percentage distribution of gender and so on, as well as having the standard option of the free text field at the bottom there, chat window, to add in your prompt. So just one example there of how you can use Copilot in Excel. Hope you found that useful.